Welcome to the Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. Dusty and Huss with you on the Lock Shop. Thank you very much for being here today. And, man, I just have to say the cleaning lady is here in the building today, and our building smells terrific today, Huss. You know, like when something gets clean fresh, the building is still old and will probably burn down one day. But, my God, it smells nice today. It's great.
You know, I always wondered, knowing the cast of characters that you'd put together at Edmonton Sports Talk, I was wondering on the cleaning situation when it came to the office.
Now, our office, we have to look after on our own. She's cleaning like the common area and the washrooms and stuff, whoever the lady, the people here employ or whatever. But around the office here, it's interesting because we've all sort of just taken on roles. Like I vacuumed once. Zacticum, you vacuumed. What else do we do? We haven't. Maddie dusted, I think, once. Eric looks after a lot of the recycling and stuff like that. It's just kind of, we sort of found our niche and sort of just fell in line, you know?
It just works. It just works. Well, but you're right. That new car smell, the clean office smell, all delightful to the senses.
Yeah, I don't even want to go take a piss later because the bathroom will be so clean today.
Hold it.
Yeah, I'll take that one home with me. It is the Lock Shop. You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. You can also hit us up over in the Nasty Chat on YouTube as well. Sub to Edmonton Sports Talk if you have not yet already. Go check out Winnipeg Sports Talk, obviously, with us as well. First of all, last night, the parlay, Dallas money line, Oilers money line. That hit.
Bang,
EST parlay plus 375. We hit that one. And it was funny because we needed the Hyman goal, and the fourth goal, Nuge shoots. They awarded to him. I'm watching it at Hudson's where Tommy was doing pre and post. It hit the post and rolled across the line, and they showed the high shot. And I was like, I think Hyman touched that before it went across. I think he did. I think he was sort of guiding it, and then was like, boom, I'll just tap it home. And so then I'm leading to head home to watch the third at home, and my Twitter's blowing up. They're like, Dusty, Hyman did touch it. We're going to do it. We're going to hit the other parlay. So, yeah, it worked out. It was just one of those nights here, Huss. It was just one of those nights, buddy.
Wins all around. The Oilers move on to round 2. Get to kick back and watch the Preds potentially extend this series to 7 games. And, Edmonton and Colorado in a real nice spot right now. Already booked their ticket to the second round while very competitive series continue on. And how
big do you think that is for those two teams, Huss? Like if Nashville Vancouver goes 7, Game 7 is not till Sunday, so the Oilers aren't going to play till Tuesday or Wednesday. So that's a week off in the middle of the playoffs, which it's tough to get that. It's tough to find that.
Well, it is, and listen, for the Oilers, I think the benefit to them will be if they make a long run, conference finals, cup finals, finishing your first round series early, I think can really benefit you. For the Avalanche, I think the benefit's even more short-term in that, if Vegas can get this one back to Dallas and have this series go 7, just as we thought all year long, there were going to be some teams that beat the hell out of each other in the first round in the Central Division, and the Jets weren't able to test Colorado to the point where they were going to 6 or 7 games, and now they get to sit back, enjoy themselves this evening and tomorrow, and be ready to go right out of the gate. So, listen, it's never a bad thing to finish a series early. I think there's benefits for both of these teams. And as I say, I'm hoping now with no skin in the game, just as a hockey fan, I hope that both Colorado and Edmonton win their next round and we get a conference final. Oilers Avalanche. Dude, that
would be great.
Listen, I've watched a ton of Oilers this year, and after seeing the Avalanche up close and personal in the way they look in the playoffs, that is a series that the world needs to see.
Jake from Coolbet is going to join us for what I'm sure will be a very interesting discussion on the Toronto Maple Leafs game tonight. Jake will be fired up. So he'll be by around 11:30, 20 minutes from now. Huss, I don't want to bury the lead because I do see people asking for it. The AEW experience last night for yourself.
Oh my God, did we have a good time. It was like the crowd was a little dead at times. And I don't know, maybe just people were exhausted after the playoffs, or I'm not sure. But it was amazing. I mean, Jericho was back, Kenny Omega came back, and he did a long interview about how he'd been battling diverticulitis, and he may have to have a colostomy bag for the rest of his life. But bag or no bag, he's going to be getting back into the ring in a couple months. I'm sure that was a joke. I'm not sure there's ever been a pro wrestler actively competing with a colonoscopy bag, but it was wild. And then the final match was these two women, Willow versus Sky Blue, in the Manitoba Massacre match.
Okay, I saw Remo be like, the Manitoba Massacre lived up to the hype or whatever. Like,
it was wild. It was wild. They pulled out a bag of thumbtacks and slammed each other into that, and it finished with sort of like a suplex into a table with a board covered in barbed wire on top of it.
My God.
It looked like it hurt. And the first time ever, Chris Jericho in his match brought out a bag of pucks.
I saw that, the pucks.
And at one point, just whipped a puck in his opponent's face and actually started bleeding nose. No, it was a lot of fun. And actually, it's in Edmonton next week. So
it is rolling through here, isn't it? Yeah.
They go from Winnipeg, and their next event is in Edmonton. So, yes, if you like professional wrestling, great matches, awesome athletes, show is real fun. AEW Dynamite coming to Edmonton next week, and shout out to everybody that. Okay, one hilarious thing did happen. Okay. You know my take on the wave.
Oh, okay.
So Cesaro, this Swiss guy, was out, and it was in a commercial break. And he said, "Okay, everyone, I'm going to run around the ring. I'm going to high five everyone, but I want everyone to be involved in it. So let's do a wave. I start here, 100s, 200s. Just when I come around, you stand up." He literally started the wave, a good wave, in 10 seconds. At that point, I went to get a beer, and I wasn't 10 feet away from where I was sitting on the floor, running back. Then guys in the stands, "Hustler, what'd you think about that wave?" I said, "Hey, this is a great place to do the wave. I'm not sure that, we can't jinx anything. We're just here to have fun. Wave away, folks." But anyways, it was a really, really fun night. And if you have a chance to get to it, do it. Hey, by the way, just before I forget. So I got a text message from an old friend before. He said, "I have a package for you at the front. It's left here." So I'm like, okay. So I go downstairs. And you're a big card guy, Dusty. Check this out.
Yes, I am.
Some local guys made, and let's just call it an alternative set of Winnipeg Jets cards.
Okay.
And they are some of the most, I don't know whether they used AI and stuff, but they changed their names. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay, let's see. Leave it right there. Yeah, that looks AI from here. I'm waiting until it pops up on my screen over here.
Kyle Connor, again, spelt wrong. You can see the Colonel KFC in net. The hair all over the place. There's one. This is another interesting one. The Tyler Toffoli with the Devils in the back. And again,
yeah.
The name wrong. But this is the funniest one. And again, I haven't gone through all of the packs. We will do an opening on the show. Cole Profanity. But I guess these guys made these, and at the first street party, they were handing them out just to random fans. And some people tweeted them to me, and I'm like, these are bizarre but amazing. I need to get them. But I mean, they were never being sold. It was just sort of an underground fan thing. Anyways, my boy Drew dropped off 3 packs of these wild alternative Winnipeg Jets cards. So maybe they'll bring us some luck next season. But that'll be fun on WST today.
Nielson and Haas with you. It is the Lock Shop, brought to you by Coolbet. If you have not yet signed up for an account on Coolbet, please do use the code LOCKSHOP. When you do, you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to $200. You can hit us up. The Nasty Chat, just the one game tonight in the NHL. We'll certainly get to that. What do you think of Dallas Vegas last night, Huss? Obviously, a lot of our focus later in the evening would have been on the Oilers and the Kings, but 3 in a row for the Dallas Stars. They go to Aiden Hill. It's not like he got lit up by any stretch of the imagination. But Jake Ottinger, after game 1, I saw some numbers on Ottinger after game 1. He has been dialed in for the last 4 games of this series.
Yeah, well, we knew that's what it was going to take for them to get back into it. And now they're on the verge of coming all the way back and winning the series. I mean, as I said, I was watching dudes in spandex throw each other around, but we were following the game. And I mean, what can you say about Dallas? I was so impressed with the fight that they brought in those 2 games in Vegas to get them back. And then, you knew a team was going to win a home game at some point, but to come back from that 2-0 deficit and get it to even terms going into last game, Dallas had all the momentum and they managed to keep it going. And they're a really, really well-balanced, well-rounded team. You got guys like Hintz and Robertson, the experience of Ben and Seguin, and that Wyatt Johnson. He's been the guy so far this series for Dallas. But you can't do it without your goaltender. And there were some questions about Jake Ottinger. Obviously, Vegas made the goaltending change last night and went to Aiden Hill. But Dallas is going to make a lot of people happy because there's a lot of people that are not big fans of the Vegas Golden Knights and the way they've done business this year. So hopefully Dallas can get it done. I'd love to see an Abs
Dallas Colorado series, buddy, would be pretty damn legit. I very much look forward to seeing that one should we end up getting it. We will get to the NHL games tonight. Obviously, Jake's going to pop by from Coolbet, so we'll dive a little bit more into the Maple Leafs game when Jake pops by and give you some thoughts on that. Just quickly, CJ Cup, you see who's at the top of the leaderboard right now? Pendrith. Nope. Taylor Pendrith. 6 under through 15. Pendy, Chesson Hadley, Matt Wallace. All 6 under, various stages of their rounds. Alex Noren, who I had just outside of my list, he's had a nice start. He's 5 under through 16. Jason Day is 4 under. Killa Keith is 3 under. Kashmir Keith, as he was described yesterday. Spieth is 3 under there as well. Cooch is 2 under. A few other guys in the mix. I don't think a lot. Well, Tom Hoagie's only at even. That's not great. Mac Hughes is +1. Tom Kim is 1 over right now as well, so we need him to kind of dial it in a little bit. But nice start for Pendrith, who Pete Greggy was on yesterday, so that's good to see.
Yeah, one of the part of Team Coolbet. Got to love it when the Canadians, especially the guys that are on board with the squad, make things happen. He's a bomber. He is a player that has been, in contention in some tournaments beforehand. This is a lighter field. This is a great opportunity for somebody like Pendy to cash a nice check, but maybe just maybe be sniffing around on Sunday and in the mix for a win.
If you want to chime in, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Quickly, 2 games in the association tonight. Bucks and Pacers. Well, you have the Pacers that you need to close that out, right, for the parlay, and the Knicks.
Yeah, I
need
Pacers and the Knicks, who both lost in Game 5 with an opportunity. The Knicks had it. I can't believe the series is even going, and that's what makes Philly a little dangerous. Philly a -154 favorite tonight, but the Pacers a massive favorite at -227 just because of the health situation. I don't know whether Bobby Portis can put a team on his back again and get it down on the road. Well,
the Knicks are interesting because they were 3.5-point dogs this morning. I made it the Coolbet hotline of the day. We're trying to make it 6 in a row on the Nielsen show today. And he decided to roll with Brunson and the Knicks +3.5 in that game tonight. I mean, Embiid is running on fumes right now. It's going to have to be Superman efforts from Tyrese Maxey, which he is certainly capable of. But I think I really like the Knicks as the dog tonight, certainly on the +3.5. Right now it's sitting at at +3. So hopefully some of you got on it at +3.5 earlier today. So the two games right there in the NBA tonight. The one game in the National Hockey League tonight, and then we'll set up a couple more tomorrow as we get set for Vancouver and Nashville and Dallas and Vegas. You can also slide in, if you go and look at NHL season bets right now, the up-to-date odds on Stanley Cup winner, Eastern Conference winner, Western Conference winner. Western Conference winners right now, Colorado and Edmonton, are both 2-1 favorites. Dallas is at 4-1. The Canucks are +650. Vegas is 20-1. Nashville is obviously 30-1. Tough spots there. Carolina is 2-1 in the East. Florida is +240. The Rangers are 3-1. The Bruins are 5-1. The Maple Leafs are 20-1. And then over to win the Stanley Cup, Hurricanes and Oilers. Could it be a rematch of 2006? Wouldn't that be something? +450. And then the Panthers and the Avs at 5-1. And then it kind of drops off. Rangers at +650, Stars at +750. Nobody else inside 10-1. Just any thoughts on that futures board right now, Huss?
Well, it's just kind of neat that you've got basically four teams that are incredibly close. The thing that stands out the most to me is how the books prefer the Carolina Hurricanes as opposed to the New York Rangers. Like the Rangers, just for the cup odds, are +650. Carolina's a co-favorite with Edmonton at +450. And if you look at the East, Carolina's 2-1 to win the East, and the Rangers are 3-1. And I mean, ever since they made that Gensel trade post-deadline, it seems like the book has really respected Carolina and had them right near the top at times. And I think maybe it's just because of how many nasties and lock shoppers and ESTers had been throwing down on the Oilers that the Oilers were actually the favorite. But it does stand out. The other thing, it just says how close it is. I mean, you got Carolina, Edmonton, Florida, Colorado. That's the tier. And then New York right behind that. Dallas at +750. And again, that number is a little higher because they have not yet won this series.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, that number was a heck of a lot higher 4 or 5 days ago after they were down 2-0. Vancouver 17, the Bruins 11, and then Vegas 30-1, and the Leafs 50-1. I do think. I mean, do you not think that they're sleeping on the Rangers a little bit? Like, I'm just surprised.
You know what? It's funny. It's funny you brought that up when I saw like the Rangers at +650, but the Rangers to win the East being behind both the Panthers and Hurricanes, despite having the best record in the league. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised by that. I mean, I know they didn't have a great opponent in the first round, but they swept them. Like, they took care of them. I don't know why they'd be below both Carolina and Florida right now, to be honest with you. 3-horse race, in my opinion.
Yeah. They got to go. And you're having two of the top teams in the league go head to head. I think second and third, or first and third in the second round. And again, dumb playoff format. Why playing through the division again makes no sense. 1-8 would be great. I'm all in on 1-16, but I don't think they'll ever do that because of the travel it might create. But I am looking forward to the next round. Like, we've already got odds up for the Rangers and the Hurricanes. And I think this sort of just speaks to what we were talking about, like the series price on this. Have you looked at it yet?
No, I have not looked at the series price on this.
What would you think that it would be?
I mean, near pick'em, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. No, Carolina -152, and the Rangers +125. Yeah, so as they say, the book really likes Carolina more than New York.
Yeah, there's some good value here on the Rangers. I mean, if you believe in the Rangers, I see Zulu over in the Nasty Chat says, I'm on the Rangers to win the East. So you can get them at pretty good value compared to, like, you can get the Canes at 2-1 to win the East, or you can take the Rangers at 3-1 to win the East. And then you want to get in on the series, New York Rangers +125 to win that series, over 6 for it to go 7 games. And I could see this one going 7, +200 for that series to go 7 as well. So it should be a good one. Looking forward to seeing that. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the line would be in that Colorado-Dallas series if it ends up happening as well. Duck Dad over in the nasty chat, sliding with a little MLB action. I'll be honest, Huss, I've been out on the MLB a little bit lately with NHL playoffs going, and I'm a sucker for the NBA playoffs and the NFL draft and CFL draft. I have kind of disconnected a little bit from Major League Baseball outside of seeing Schneider. I'm going to talk about this with Jake, I guess. Seeing Schneider saying, offense is going to come. Offense is going to come. The guy's been saying it for 24 months. Like, I'm starting to think it's not going to come here, Huss.
Well, I know they lost last night. I've kind of been paying more attention to the Jays as opposed to like the entire landscape of the league. But, for all that doom and gloom and the fact that they couldn't hit, they were 500 going into yesterday's game. Now, again, they scored 1 run and lost 6-1. The best story this season for the Jays has been Justin Turner. He's been phenomenal, cranking out bombs. Did a couple. He had two 2-run shots, I think, two days ago. But listen, they're going to go as far as their big guys take them, and Vladdy hasn't been very good. Bo hasn't been good, and it's a losing equation if those guys don't get it going right now. But there's some other guys stepping up. Danny Jansen. I'm interested to know how many of these games Jake's been to lately, because he's been, I know, living and dying with the Leafs, who are back and have this big game tonight. But he did have that pass to go to all those early season games. So he's seen a few good ones, probably a few stinkers as well.
Yeah, we'll get into that. The Duck Dad is throwing across the 20-10 Guardians are up against the Astros and 10.97 ERA sporting Arrighetti. The Guardians over 4.5 line is at plus 105. So, Duck Dad, do I give you another go here in Major League Baseball? If you think I've forgotten the Arizona Diamondbacks play from like a month ago, I haven't. Maybe I revisit a Duck Dad baseball lean on a quiet night in the National Hockey League. Mitchie R says Varsho is becoming my favorite player. Like, the Jays just don't score more than 5 runs in a game. I think it's happened like once in the last, what is it, like 3.5, 4 weeks? It's insane. They cannot generate offense to save their lives.
Yeah, Varsho has been good. I mean, let's say we're talking about Varsho, Turner, Danny Jansen, been the guys that have been raking. It's got to be Bo Bichette. It's got to be Vlad. Pitching has to step up. And by the way, Northside Sandwich, you got to give me a couple days before I catch these strays in the chat about having plenty of time to watch the MLB now that the Jets are out. I know. Thank you very much.
Northside Sandwich, we met him last week. He was by the office picking some stuff up. Really nice guy, but delivering the low blow to us. All right, let's bring in Jake. We're on this baseball conversation right now, so let's bring in Jake. Jake, what's going on, buddy? How you doing, man?
Well, I'm up close and personal here. You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you. I know it's a big day for you today. Huge day for Jake Bolin Moss and the city of Toronto. But just quickly on the Jays. I mean, how much longer can we just hear Schneider say the offense will find a way?
Yeah, listen, I think when you look at it, the question is what's going to come first, the offense or Schneider getting canned? I mean, that's kind of where we're at, right? Because, I mean, this team is clearly underperforming. The pitching has been there just like last season, and they cannot get the bats to go. It's tough to watch. And I know Huss mentioned the ticket package. I really haven't had a chance to get out there as much as I'd hoped. I don't like to go when there's a Leaf game on, obviously, especially a playoff game. So, I missed Tuesday's game. The Wednesday games are at 3 o'clock Eastern. So, that's kind of during work hours. It's not that easy to just peel out as close as the Rogers Center is. So I haven't been to as many games as I'd hoped, but it's probably for the better. I mean, I'm shocked they're 15-17. Like, the fact they're 2 games under 500 is surprising as it is.
Yeah, they are just 2 games under, right? So,
and like they were 15-15 2 nights ago. Got to get some wins. Although the Royals are actually better than I thought they'd be this year. And that Bobby Witt, if you got a fantasy team, jump on him. And they signed him to a 7-year deal, which is very, very nice to see him stick around KC. But Jake, you know what it's all about tonight. What's the vibe in Toronto right now? Like, how much did that win in Boston change or just uplift Leaf fans that were for the most part, I think, expecting the worst in Game 5.
Oh, Huss. I messaged this in the chat a couple days ago. I said, hope is a sickness. And that Tuesday night win gave me too much hope. Too much hope. Yeah, like it was one of those games where, Matthews is out. We had, you never truly give up, but you're kind of at a point where you're like, this series is over. Like, it's 3-1. Who knows what's going on with Matthews? Like, they looked dead in the water on Saturday. Like uninterested in being out there. And I'm like, we're going to know a lot about this team in the first 3 shifts of Game 5, and they came out flying pretty good. McCabe scored early. They gave up that goal. It was kind of a deflating one where, Benoit tries to go up the boards. It bounces off of Bruin's skate. Robertson's in decent defensive position, and Frederick just gets to the puck quickly and buries it, ties the game. But they didn't falter. Wool played great. And like I said off the top, it's given not just myself, but, I'm in a ton of group chats with a ton of Leaf fans. There is hope in the city now. My buddy and I, the roommate that I live with, we went down to the last game the Leafs won at home in the playoffs. I think they've lost 6 in a row since.
They've lost 6 in a row at home. Yeah.
His godparents sent him tickets tonight. They said, we need a win tonight. So he's heading down there with his brother to the game. So hopefully he can bring some magic juju. I think we're going to body paint him here after work, and he's going to be down at the game, see if we can get him on the jumbo.
Yeah, I think that if he's body painted, I think you can pretty much guarantee that stands out a lot more in Toronto than it might in some of these other Canadian markets. What are you going to do for the game? What will your
he'll be cleaning he'll be cleaning his hands of all the body paint after he paints up his roommate here.
Huss, I'm going to do exactly what I did on Tuesday night. I'm going to sit my ass on the couch. I cleaned the apartment on Tuesday, so right after work, I'm going to clean the apartment again. I'm going to pour myself an espresso because that's what I did on Tuesday. I'm going to sit down in the exact same spot where I sat. And I'm going to hope this team can win a hockey game without Austin Matthews again and try to force a Game 7 on Saturday.
Yeah, no Matthews. Like, what? How big of a topic is that? I mean, it's sort of bizarre. We don't have a lot of information. It's very cloak and dagger as the playoffs are. But, like, this guy must be really in bad shape if he can't go for such a couple of massive games for him and the franchise.
Yeah, I don't want to be rumor mill guy because I don't know anything. So I'll preface that off the start. But, yeah, it's the biggest point of conversation right now. Obviously, the goalie change was a big deal last game, but I've always been a big fan of Wool. I think his game is awesome, and it's clearly the team agrees because there's a lot of comments about just how calm he is. I think Edmonton was talking about kind of compared him to Binnington. Obviously, a completely different scenario. That team won a Stanley Cup. This team has like first round win aspirations. But anyways, like. This Matthews thing is just crazy right now. Keefe has been saying sickness. I know Patty came on here and talked about it the other day, how Keefe is kind of keeping things close to the vest, and that's what he was told to do by Tree Living. So I'm fine with it, but it just causes mayhem on social media and group chats. Like, people want to speculate what's going on. I've heard anything from concussion to, I see people in the nasty chat calling it a tummy ache. If it's a tummy ache, that would drive me absolutely nuts. Yeah, I know. Anyways, so yeah, there was a crash into the boards in game 82 that was pretty aggressive that people are kind of pointing to, but no one really knows, right? It's all speculation. They've already confirmed that he's out for tonight, so obviously it's serious enough that he's missing hockey games. He missed the third in game 4, missed the entire game 5, and then he's going to miss game 6. So I'll be honest, and I don't know how much you take into this, but they play really good without Austin in the lineup. Obviously, he's their best player. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I think it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like we can't just rely on this one guy to go out and get us a couple goals and, be the hero of this team. It comes down to everyone else stepping up. And, I thought Marner had a great bounce back game in game 5 after people were shipping him out of town for, the 100th time. Nyes obviously played awesome, had the game winner. Tavares even was noticeable in that overtime. He doesn't blow by anybody, and he got by Grzelcyk to get that puck to the net. Wool, obviously, I've already touched on him. So yeah, it's just like next man up mentality. and hopefully they can kind of replicate what they had in Game 5, maybe a couple more goals. I'd like to sit through a game where I can breathe a little bit, with a little bit of like a lead. Yeah, I never get that. Like I have to sit through 1-goal games, whether it's down 1 or up 1 constantly, and my fingernails take a beating.
Jake Bolin Moss with us. So here's like a couple. The one way I was looking at this series, and we'll talk about what happens if they lose tonight, like what ends up happening. However, like if they can somehow squeak this out here and force a Game 7 after missing Nylander for 3 games, missing Matthews for 2.5, Marner being criticized for not being really involved much, that would be that would be pretty impressive that the Bruins haven't been able to put the final nail in the coffin here yet. If they could actually somehow force a Game 7, because I mean, in a lot of places, if you're missing one of your guys for the first 3 games and you're missing the best goal scorer in the league for the next 2 or 3, it would already be lights out. So I guess in a weird way, I'm kind of giving that group of Maple Leafs a little bit of credit right now, Jake.
It's been crazy. I just saw something right before I jumped on here. It was the core 4, and that includes Tavares, has played a total of 2 periods this series. I know Nylander's been out, and he is due for a game right now. Like, this is where Willie Nylander can staple, like, I am here, like, because he played such a great playoffs last year. I've been a huge critic of Nylander, and he's made me eat that this year. But then for him not to start this series, he hasn't been his usual self. But this is the type of game where he can come in, make an impact, goal assist, something like that, and take this thing back to Boston. As much as it's like, you can give them a pat on the back, I think how Leafs land is. There's going to be a ton of criticism, even if, they go down in a fighting effort tonight. I'm a proprietor. I think Keefe's got to be out the door here if they don't get out of this first round, which obviously the odds aren't necessarily in their favor. I don't know if I'm ready to, push Marner out the door. He also has a no move clause, which, not necessarily easy to get around. You don't necessarily get the biggest haul you can. Like, if you were going to move Marner, and I know I'm kind of rambling here, there's so many thoughts in my head, but if you were going to move Marner, it should have been before that deadline of last year, like the contract deadlines where the new one kicks in and the no move comes into full effect. So there was a time to do that. I think it's one of those things where, that core probably sticks together for one more year, but maybe it's just a new voice behind the bench. I know we've made coaching changes. You've seen it all before, but you got to remember Keefe was a Dubas guy. It's Tree living in there now. I know they gave him that extension, but it really doesn't matter. Like, the money is not a problem here. You can get out of that contract and move on to the next guy. That's probably your easiest route. If that's what I'm trying to say.
Marner, I heard some potential off-season moves for the Leafs. And there is some speculation that maybe they try and do something like a 1-for-1 with Utah for Clayton Keller. A little bit of a change of scenery. Mitch could be sort of a focal point for the new team in Utah. Listen, those deals are challenging to trade, but again, still very, very good players. There will be demand for it. But Mitch is the guy. If they go out and he doesn't really do much over the course of the playoffs because of what happened with the contract, everything in the back, Jake, he seems to be the lightning rod right now amongst fans of the blue and white.
Yeah, listen, there's always a guy, right? If it's not Mitch Marner, it's Willie Nylander. There's times when it's Austin Matthews. It's hard to rag on a guy when he scores nearly 70 goals, but they, like, Leafs fans always find, and myself included, I'm not pulling myself out of that. You always find a guy to pick on. It's Morgan Rielly, it's Tavares. It's the funniest thing, because when Tavares was coming to Toronto, it was the best thing in the world. Like, we all were all fired up. He had a few great seasons. We knew he was going to get older, but it's because he's making all this money. The cap hasn't moved a ton, so he's just eating into this cap. It's hard to bring in new guys. It's hard to get the guys you want. So I don't know. There's always going to be that guy, Huss, right? Even if Marner leaves, someone else is gonna be the guy who's taking the licks. So that's just the nature of the beast here in Toronto, and I'm sure it happens in other markets too. I'm not just saying we're the unique. But there's always going to be the scapegoat, right? It was Nylander for a long time. He got his deal. Matthews got his deal. So, they're going to be around. Marner right now is coming up on his final year of his deal, and that's the easiest route to go. People have already penciled in Tavares for taking a team-friendly deal after this contract, and he'll be back as the third-line center. I don't know. I don't know. The best thing is the online back and forth of Leaf fans and all the deals that they make, and who'd be a great guy for this team, this guy, that guy. It's like, you guys know nothing, and I know nothing, but I could still have fun with it, and until they lose tonight, I'm not going to be having fun. I'm going to be back on here tomorrow, and I'm going to have you getting
I can't believe that. I can't wait. I look forward to it. Like, go ahead.
If they lose tonight, and we're into full off-season mode, maybe there'd be some interest in Pierre-Luc Dubois, who could be available. PLD. I'm just pulling this out from last night. Pierre Dubois felt dangerous out there tonight. 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 shots on goal, 2 penalty minutes, 16-15 of light cardio, and 4 shots in 5 games. That had been the story all year long. But Dusty, I know you following the series, you do hear.
He's a non-factor.
Some of the Kings conversation.
Yeah,
that was why they got him. The biggest flop of the year, without a doubt. PLD.
I still have a hard time believing that the Bruins were going to move one of their goalies for this guy at the deadline. I just why would you bring that contract to your club? It would be an all-time bad decision, Jake.
But he would be an awesome Bruin. Like he was not a great Jet in the end, not a great King, and then all of a sudden he'll go to the Bruins and be the best Pierre-Luc Dubois you've ever seen in your life. Whatever it is about these guys that the Bruins bring in, this was another thing, and I think I talked about this in the Log Shop, 2 weeks ago. So many people online, oh my God, look at this Bruins roster. Oh, the Leafs should crush them. And it's like, you guys are all idiots. Like, to believe that it matters at what these guys' names are, when you're a Bruin man, something takes over. Like James Van Riemsdyk scored the other night. Trent Frederick has 3 goals in this series. DeBrusk is a Leaf killer. Do not take these guys lightly. And I think, unfortunately for the Leafs, that's kind of how this series started. They lost both games at home. They had to go into Boston to win Game 5. And here we are, staring down the barrel of another elimination game, Game 6.
Well, all you were correct on all those accounts, and yes, I do think that if he went there, a fresh start team, especially with what happened, he'd be much better, and it probably would work out well for him. Although I don't know whether he wanted to go to LA for a reason, so he could be himself. Well, he's been himself all year, and that self did not help the Kings enough when they needed it. But if the Leafs win this game tonight, and this thing gets back to Boston, for all the great things that the Bruins have done, we'll all be talking about their recent history of choking and blowing 3-1 leads, or in one year's case, a 3-0 lead in the playoffs. But the fact that it just happened last year as the number 1 team in the league, Dusty, that last win is always the hardest one to get.
Yeah, they know it.
And that's going to be it'll be a rallying point for the Leafs, but it's also in the back of the minds of the Bruins.
It has to be. It has to be lurking around. I said yesterday, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. They know what they went through last year, so they should be able to push through it this year. Or I guess it kind of comes down to the build of the team. If they're not mentally strong, and what happened last year is still in their heads and it's going to rattle them, well, then maybe it's there for the taking. But we haven't even got to what the play is tonight in this game, or some player props or anything in this game tonight. Jake, you did say DeBrusk is a bit of a Leaf killer. I think he's been held off the board the last 2. Had a great start to the series. A Jake DeBrusk goal tonight's plus 275. I think I might sprinkle that one a little bit. But Jake, what are you thinking on this game? I know you don't want to bet against the Leafs, but is there some value in this game somewhere for you tonight?
Yeah, listen, I talked about Willie. I think it's time for him to have a big night. His goal number, plus 148, it's not bad. I just want to check his assist number here. Minus 119, I don't mind that at all. I think, just as good as he can go score the puck, he can absolutely set up goals too. DeBrusk, you mentioned DeBrusk. If you go down to his points, plus 107 for a point, just to get a point for DeBrusque. I know you said he's been held off the sheet in a couple, but he's all around it in Game 5. He just couldn't find a way to get it done. So I wouldn't bet it, obviously, but for all those nasties in the chat that want to bet against the Leafs, I don't mind DeBrusque at plus 107 there. Also, don't mind Morgan Riley for a point, minus 136. I mean, as much as he gets some heat from Leafs land and outside Leafs land, I think he's the type of guy that can show up in a game, especially at home, and make a bit of an impact. So, yeah, it's going to take, I think it's going to take more than scoring 2 goals. And a lot of these recent games for the Leafs, I think it's like 11 of the last 12, they've scored 2 goals or less in these playoff games. I think they're going to have to at least get 3 tonight to get the job done. I do want to shout out Albie in the chat. He's mentioned a few times. He was our final Hockey Hall winner for April. It was kind of like a half month. So he got a Coolbet bonus. I'm gonna get him some gear here in the next couple weeks. So that's Albie 26, and he shouted me out in there. So I just want to shout him out. We also had I don't think we ever talked about March's winner was Lucas Kinrad. I'm not sure if that's a nasty or not, but that was our final 2 winners of the Hockey Hall season, and I'm sure we'll run that promo back in the new hockey season. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Huss, what do you think of tonight on this game, buddy?
Well, I wanted, and as I said, I've got a Leafs future, so I would love to see Game 7. This is a tough spot. I think there's just so much pressure on Boston, and they're usually a team that sort of rises up and handles that. And I couldn't believe they frankly won without Matthews in Game 5. To do it again is really tough. Listen, I think if I had to play a side, my brain says the Bruins, but I'm sort of with you guys on a couple of the props, and I will ride William Nylander without Austin Matthews. He's got this could be a day where he really puts his stamp on the team. He I don't know, maybe this is fair or unfair, but from outside looking in, it seemingly for a long time was always about Marner and Matthews. And Marner and Matthews were the guys, and Willie was the sort of second guy, sort of like Ehlers here in Winnipeg. Scheifele Wheeler, and then there's Ehlers, a really talented guy that does a lot. I think Willie comes up big tonight. I'm going to be jumping on maybe a goal or a point for him. And as I say, I'd love to see Wool have another big performance, and at least get us to a Game 7. If it gets to Game 7, the storylines around both sides are going to be just absolutely crazy. Bruins potentially blowing 3-1 again. Leafs maybe coming back, doing it without it. And then still the possibility of going out in the first round and firing everybody and blowing it all up.
Well, I saw this the other day. It was after the Game 5 victory. It was team. So it was Florida. It was Florida the last 2 years. So team wins their first playoff round in 20 plus years. They go on and get embarrassed in round 2, and then the following playoffs, they come back from a 3-1 deficit, beat the Boston Bruins, which included a Game 5 overtime winner. Leafs won their first playoff round last year, the first time in 20 years. Got embarrassed in round 2, 4-1 loss to Florida. And then Nyes scores the OT winner in Game 5 to start the comeback. I said it in the video. I know you guys saw the video. Let the doubt creep in. It's the old Red Sox video, or don't let us win this one. Well, that was Game 5. You let us win Game 6. Anything can happen in Game 7. I do believe that.
I will be playing the Knicks tonight.
Yeah, you are in the Knicks.
And I guess I'm playing them anyways because I've got that future on the series.
Are you playing them on the money line, Huss, or are you taking them to +3?
Plus 130 money line. Yeah. Get the job done. Did you hear that the Philly owners had to buy 2,000 tickets and they're distributing them to first responders and people in the community?
Because it wasn't sold out?
Well, I guess when the game went on, because no one knew that if there was going to be a game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They put them out, but they were so worried about all the Knicks fans buying up the tickets and invading and taking over the building like they did before. They bought them themselves and are giving them away. The tough look for Philly is a sports town. I'll just say that.
Philly New York series has been absolutely. There's been 2 amazing finishes so far in this series, so I could see another amazing finish tonight in this game, which would be good if you got the Knicks plus the 3 or the plus 3.5. Huss, what's coming up on Winnipeg Sports Talk today, buddy?
Well, we weren't expecting to hear from Bones today, but he, I'm just seeing, has just spoken. So we're going to have that, a bunch of the final. We're really focusing on the end of season interviews for a number of the players. Great stuff from Connor Hellebuck, Dylan DeMello. We'll have all of that. We're going to get ready for baseball season too. The Fish here in Winnipeg getting going. They're getting ready to hit the road to begin their season. So yeah, a lot of Jets sort of wrap up. And, of course, we'll talk a little bit more about tonight's game when we do the Coolbet lines towards the end of the program. Fellas, have a great one tonight. Jake, good luck. I hope you're coming in hot tomorrow.
One way or the other.
Either way, you're getting hot, Jake, tomorrow. That's going to be good.
I'm going to be like the saddest looking guy in the world, and I'll be screaming about everything, or I'm going to be on my high horse. You're going to hope they don't lose Saturday, because I'll be imploding on Twitter if you don't follow me at Jake Bolin Moss.
I love it. All
right,
Take
boys.
it easy, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later. There you go. That's Jake and Huss here on the Lock Shop. I'll take you home the rest of the way. I don't know how, but they put together like six exclusives on this game tonight. So we're gonna hit those quickly as well. It'll be Huss and Jake to start the Lock Shop tomorrow. I'll be joining mid-show from the Terwilliger Rec Center. We've got a game in Hockey Helps the Homeless at 10:15 tomorrow. So I'll be on the ice from about 10:15 to 11:15. Hop on the show with the boys. And then Tommy and I will do Oil Stream from Terwilliger as well. All of our shows, Terwilliger Rec Center tomorrow, if you want to pop by, say hi, get a picture or whatever. And then, we'll do Oil Stream leading up. And then we play again 4:15, I think, tomorrow afternoon. So 3 games tomorrow. The body does not hold up well for 3 games, but I might be able to sneak in a little mid-afternoon nap, depending on how things go before that game at 4:15. So fingers crossed on that front. As for the exclusives tonight over at Coolbet, and Duck Dad, I am going to ride with you on the right here. Let's see. Duck Dad's back in again. It says, I don't see this number getting any better and probably lower, but tomorrow afternoon in the Bundesliga, Hoffenheim versus Leipzig, BTTS over 3.5 minus 110. Hoffenheim doesn't know defense and scores a lot. Look at Duck Dad. I was just going to say I was going to ride with you on the MLB play tonight. I don't know if I can get into the Bundesliga. Or she said, Bundesliga. All right, here are your exclusives tonight over at Coolbet, coolbet.com. Click on exclusives. Staying alive, Marner, Nylander, and Tavares all to record point. Maple Leafs win plus 265. Points from the point, McAvoy and Morgan Riley plus 265. Same old Maple Laughs. Marner under 1.5 points. Tavares under a point. Bruins win plus 325. I think I like it. I think I like that one. Lamplighters, Pasternak, and Willie Nylander, both to score, plus 485. Helping Hands, Brad Marchand and Max Domi, both to record an assist, plus 485. Don't hate that one. And then the old classic Thursday night barn burner, Bruins, Maple Leafs, to have 6+ total goals, and the game goes to overtime at plus 750. Those are all available in the exclusives page over at coolbet.com. Quick look ahead to tomorrow, and the boys and myself included will be setting up these 2 games tomorrow. Canucks and Preds. As of right now, the Preds are minus 130 home favorites. Of course, they win that game. They force a Game 7, means even more rest for your Edmonton Oilers. And the Dallas Stars, a slight road favorite, very slight. They're minus 112. Vegas minus 105. That line could move back and forth quite a bit before puck drop. But Dallas is a very slight road favorite on the road in Vegas tomorrow night as well. As Big Uke says, you can't win if you don't bet. Hashtag DGen. Chad says the Helping Hands was 525. It's dropped. What did it drop to? He got it at 525. Let me see what's that right now. Helping Hands plus 485. So a little bit of movement on the Helping Hands. All right, that's going to do it for the Lock Shop today. 2 guys and a goalie coming up. Gager's got some daughter dance commitments today. So it'll be Cass and Tommy Gazzola. How about this guy? Stuck around. Tommy and I in studio. Cass will be connecting remotely. 2 guys and a goalie coming up right here as we'll break down the Oilers' victory over the Kings. Look ahead to whoever it's going to be, the Nashville Predators of Vancouver Canucks. We'll get to your bigger and hotter headlines coming up as well for Big Mama's and Papa's Pizzeria. That's going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Best of luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.